Here we are at the 2020 Tyabb Air Show, and behind me is a Yak 52, nice paint job. We've got lots of planes to look at today, more planes, planes everywhere. So we'll see you later, and we'll get some more footage for you. So here's a Boomerang. I love the Boomerang, CA13. I'd love to go and fly in one. This is Matt Denning's one that he stored over many years. It was here 10 years ago, it's here today, and yeah, it's up at Chamorro now. So yeah, it's a nice little plane. Some other people taking photos, as they do, which is good. Yeah, so it's a good plane. Love to have a flying one, but yeah, it's unlikely at all. It's whipping around. There's a Kitty Hawk behind us. Might be in the shot, I don't know, you can tell. Alright, catch you later. You hear that? Yeah. Sounds awesome, eh?
The CAC Boomerang is the only indigenously produced fighter aircraft in Australia to see operational service. Basically 2 weeks after the attack on Pearl Harbor, they started the design using as many Wirraway components as they possibly could, using the same design philosophy as the Wirraway, and incorporating the largest engine then in production in Australia, which was the Pratt & Whitney twin-row radial. And we were actually building those to put in our version of the Beaufort bomber at 1,200 horsepower. In an unbelievably short period of time, they put the aircraft together, hand-built the prototype. All the guys on the manufacturing floor, the majority of them were sleeping there to ensure that the rapid production of the aircraft could take place. Armed with 4 machine guns and 2 20mm cannons. We weren't building cannons here, so how did we get them? Well, somebody found out that an Australian soldier coming back from the Middle East had souvenired a Hispano cannon from either a Spitfire or a Hurricane. So they brought it home, they knocked on his door, picked up the souvenir, and then reverse engineered it and started to manufacture Hispano 20mm cannons. The aircraft itself was altitude limited by the engine. Unfortunately, it was not designed to do the job that it was thrown into, basically.
Yeah, but it was pretty good on the ground attack aircraft, and they used that quite extensively because of the armament they used. So,
and 4 and 5 squadrons in that role up in the operational area.
Yep.
We built 250 of these. There are 2 flying examples currently, this particular one and another one flying in South Australia with Jim Wally.
Yep.
And that aircraft that Jim Wally owns and operates was actually the aircraft that his father flew. They picked up the remains off the beach. By 3 other squadrons, 83, 84 and 85 squadron.
Was that your book or mine?
85 squadron.
Sorry?
For the
Skills, I think.
defence first, in case of Japanese coming down to the Indian Ocean.
18, Winjeel bomber and the Harvard. This is a 2-seat aircraft that's a Norman, and some of them served on ships, some of them did insurance, counter-insurance layer, sorry, Jim.
That's fine, Pete. And the Robinson R22-2s are powered by 360 Lycoming, 100, a range of about 200 nautical miles. They have a 12-year life or 2,600 hours. It doesn't mean you throw the helicopter away, but it means you just have to have a massive rebuild. As you can see, you can mean I think windy conditions here exceptionally well. And I know it's very difficult to fly. This is probably one of the most, as I would say, tricky helicopters.
Quite different from the Harvard because it has a huge top, so the top is not turning as fast, it's a three-bladed, not a two-bladed, and as I say, a little bit more horsepower, 600, and the exhaust is vastly different. So as it goes past you, you only hear some of the cylinders. And Wirraway is an Aboriginal word meaning challenge. And
Now here we have Australia's first mass-produced aircraft, the Commonwealth Aircraft Corporation Wirraway. Wirraway is an Aboriginal word for challenge. We mentioned earlier on the Commonwealth Aircraft Corporation was formed by a number of Australian companies, or the major companies in Australia, ICI, BHP, slightly modified for Australian purposes. We sent a group overseas to look for designs that might be suitable. Went to England, couldn't find anything that was going to be satisfactory for general purpose aircraft. Went to America, saw North American Aviation, and basically got the license in 1816 as it was known then. The Australian government was horrified with that idea of not buying British, but fortunately Lawrence Wackett had his way and we started the production. Eventually produced 755 of these. As I said, they started off as a general purpose aeroplane. They could be used for quite a number of things. Army cooperation, liaison, training. And it was in the training role that the majority of them. Some of those went to war with numbers 4 and 5 squadrons. 5 squadron operating up in the Winjeel area at a place called Torquay, and then 4 squadron operating in Guinea and working their way across towards the Borneo. Very simple aeroplane, a steel tube fuselage frame. Attached to that were very large panels that were fabric covered. You could take these panels off and expose virtually everything inside one in particular, the Boomerang. It was Australia's first indigenously produced fighter. The Wirraways operate up in the war zone. They had a machine gun in the back, 2 machine guns firing through the propeller arc, all of rifle caliber. The Lewis gun in the back is a single with Lewis gun, basically harking back to World War I. You can see the guns on the tops of the wings of the World War I fighters. That was a Lewis gun. Used for target marking, dropping supplies under the wing. They had hard points with bomb racks that could carry what they called a torpedo, which was a big cardboard cylinder with a cone on the front, made it look like a bomb, and a parachute in the back. You could open up the cylinder and fill it full of supplies, ammunition, rifles, whatever was needed. One of the most famous Wirraways operated with number 4 Squadron, flown by a guy called John Archer.
Boxing Day, 1942.
He was on a reconnaissance over what they call the Gona wreck, Japanese freighter wreck in New Guinea, and he spotted a Japanese fighter below him. Immediately dived down, didn't think about it, just immediately dived down, one pass, firing these rifle caliber machine guns and managed to shoot the aircraft down. When he returned to his base, before he finished taxiing, his observer jumped out of the back and was seen on the side of the fuselage next to the cockpit. And the people on the ground thought that Archer had been wounded. When they found out what happened, they sent a very famous signal off to their headquarters that said, Archer has shot down 1Z, repeat 1Z, send 6 bottles beer. The beer was duly sent, and that aircraft survived World War II, survived the rigours of training at Point Cook, and is now back in the Australian War Memorial, restored to the markings it wore at the time. I think it's actually been relocated just at this present time for War Memorial expansion. Wirraway today flown by Glenn Collins as part of the 4-minute air circuit.
It's not an easy plane to throw around like that. I mean, it's a bit of a tricky plane in a way because it's just got a bit of a flicky stall in it, and that's a great display.
Very much different to the Harvard, even though it looks identical. The Harvard is a development, shall we say, of the NA-16.
And they served in Vietnam all through that part of the war. I mean, it's pretty tricky when people are firing guns at you and you're not in a very fast aeroplane.
It was basically a development of the Cessna 170, the private touring aircraft, the 4-seater, and it was designed to fulfill a requirement that the US Army had for replacing its fabric-covered forward air-controlled aircraft, basically World War II, with something more modern. First flew in December 1949, and there was a competition to call it something. And one of the workers there at Wichita came up with the name Bird Dog.
Now it's only a 2-place fleet, as you know, and that's one. Wait, give a wave, everyone.
Glenn Collins, ladies and gentlemen. Of the bird dogs that were sent to Vietnam, they lost 469 of them. 3 of them known to have been shot down by surface-to-air missiles, which must have been extremely upsetting to the guy flying it to be shot down by a missile. They generally flew in one particular area where the pilot would become so familiar with what was on the ground that they could tell whether or not there were 1 or 2 more water buffalo in an area, or whether or not people have been walking across the right lane,
particularly in a turn. A lot more power is needed for the aircraft that are on the top of the turn, and the aircraft on the inside of the turn can allow for the stall speed. Winjeel was built here in Australia by the Commonwealth Aircraft Corporation. Not very far from here at Fisherman's Bend. Of course, that's company aircraft. And they started building the Wirraway, which was a local Aboriginal word, or challenge. Winjeel is another Aboriginal word for young eagle. CD4s lined up in echelon right, breaking off. As Pete mentioned earlier on, CT4 developed from the Victor Air Tourer, which was built in Australia. Victor, yes, it is the company that produces your lawnmower, or produced your lawnmower.